Join me as I create some festive Christmas decorations inspired by some of my favorite creators, all the while sticking to a super tight budget. Welcome to the Chic Show. Today is Recreation Inspiration, hosted by Lily D's Creations, Lady Red Crafting, and co-hosted by Sunflower Tasha. All their info on the playlist is in the description box below. I purchased this rolling pin at a thrift store because I knew exactly what I wanted to do with it. The handles were a little bit newer looking than the rest of the piece, so I used some antique wax to stain them and make them a little bit more like the rest of the color. I'm going to be using some milk paint in Barn Red for the handles only. So I'm mixing that together and I'm going to put on 2 coats, and I am going to dry it with my heat gun because you tend to get a little bit more cracking when you do that. So here we are with coat 1, and then I will dry it and apply coat 2. And I've set that aside for now, and I'm using this sheet music of Deck the Halls. This is out of a small music book, and I'm going to be wetting the edges of the paper to tear along the top and the bottom to fit onto the rolling pin. I'm going to be using liquid patina to adhere the sheet music to the rolling pin. And this piece is inspired by something that I saw on the Iron Orchid Designs Creative Tribe, and I don't remember who it was, but I'm sure you can still find it on that Facebook page. I will also coat the top of the paper on the rolling pin with the liquid patina. And then I'm going to be adding one of last year's Christmas rub-on transfers from IOD, these candy canes. And of course I'm adding these once the liquid patina has completely dried. I'm going to burnish that down with the backing paper, and then I'll use more liquid patina to seal in the transfer and the handles. I think I forgot to show you, but I did sand down the handles just a little bit because I didn't get quite as much chipping as I was hoping with that paint. This project was inspired by something I saw on Pinterest. So I want to make this little gingerbread bag. This fabric is from Walmart. It's one of their quilting fat quarters, and I just cut it to the size that I wanted my bag to be. And this is no sew. You certainly could sew it, but I just wasn't in the mood. So I'm using hot glue, and I have 2 rows of hot glue there, and I'm doing that on purpose because I want there to be kind of a ruffle at the top, and I'm going to feed through a cord so that I can cinch it up. Now I'm also hot gluing down the sides, and of course not on the top. Now I'm going to use this cord and a safety pin, and I'm going to feed it through both sides of the bag so that I can attach it at the end, and then I can tighten it up. Once the hot glue has completely cooled, I can flip my bag right side out. I'm using this little piece of drop cloth, and I'm going to be stamping on the words Gingerbread Factory, and I'm using the IOD Apothecary stamps for this. I'm taking some embroidery floss and I'm just using, it's actually a yarn needle, but it worked fine for this weave on this drop cloth, and I'm just sewing a simple stitch all the way around. The only thing left to do is to hot glue this little tag onto the front of the bag. Lastly, I added in a few gingerbread goodies. This project was inspired by Loli at Loli D's Creations. She used this piece to create some pumpkins, and I thought I would use the same idea but create some ornaments. So first I painted these red, green, and white and then changed my mind. So now I'm painting on Waverly chalk paint in ink. I'm also using these little wood ornaments from Dollar Tree, and I painted each one of those plaster by Waverly. Now I'm mixing together some green paints to get a couple of different shades of green that will blend well together. And then I'm also using some cream and white and this metallic copper color. I mixed them together and then I added some of the paint pouring medium that I got from Dollar Tree. I took turns just drizzling the paint across the ornaments, and I did place a large tumbling tower block underneath the ornament so that it could drain off the sides. And I left this actually for a couple of days before I touched it again. Once everything was completely dry, I went back with some rub and buff and I brushed on a little bit of gold paint. I also painted the top of the ornament gold, and I also decided that the white paint was a little too stark, so I dabbed on some of that gold rub and buff all over the white paint. Then I decided I wanted the underneath part to be gold so that gold would show through those holes in the ornaments. So I tried to just dab a little in the holes and that didn't work. So I ended up drawing a circle or tracing around the ornaments on each of these little pieces. And then I went back and used the rub and buff to fill in the circle and then used the black paint to go around and get anywhere that I got out of the lines. Used hot glue to adhere these to the wood piece, and then this project was complete. Well, maybe not totally complete. I decided to add a little banner, so this is a strip of silk ribbon actually that I made from a silk shirt, and then a piece of drop cloth, and I'm stamping on no L on the drop cloth, and then I will glue that to the ribbon. And these stamps are from IOD's Apothecary stamps. Now I'll play with my banner just a little bit to decide exactly how I want to adhere it to the ornaments, and then I'll use hot glue to do that. This is a piece that I also saw on Pinterest that really inspired me, and I didn't have the letters like this, but I wanted something similar. So I'm using this metal joy sign from Dollar Tree from last year, and I took it outside and gave it a coat of cream colored spray paint. This picture here was from the clearance section at Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to be covering that cute little pig with some drop cloth. So I cut that to size and then hot glued around the edges. I'm going to be using some rub-on transfers from IOD's new Christmas release. It's from Yuletide, but I wanted to make sure that I knew exactly where I wanted to put these. So I put the joy sign down and then placed my rub-on transfers where I thought they would fit best onto the canvas. To hide the hole at the top of the J, I'm going to be using some velvet ribbon that I'm just making a simple bow with, and then I'm using some baker's twine in red and white to tie around the middle. And I'll hot glue this to the top of the J, and then this project is ready to be displayed. I want to remind you to check out the playlist in the description box below, along with our host channels. Thanks again to our lovely host, and thank you for watching. I'll leave another video right here that I think you might like. Remember to share the chic. Bye now.